I'm about to give you one of the best techniques for success with women you have ever heard in your entire life. This is one of those techniques that will actually change your life as long as you understand it and implement it. And I'm not kidding. You're about to find out why. I am Caleb Jones. This is Alpha Male 2.0. I make a multi-six-figure location independent international income while dating multiple attractive women, and I show men like you how to do the same thing. Here is how you can become immediately more successful with women just by making a little shifted perspective in your brain. Here's how this works. You need to imagine that every time you meet a new woman, that would be through social circle, through cold approach, through online dating, first date, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Particularly if she doesn't know you first. So that would be cold approach or online dating on a first date. You need to imagine that she has 3 buttons on her forehead that are prominently displayed. One button says no, one button says yes, and one button says make him wait. During the initial interaction with her in the dating environment, let's call it a first date or first meet, you are going to press down on one of those 3 buttons. And the button you press will be what she does. So if you press the no button, she will be polite and she will be nice and you will never see her ever again. She probably won't even respond to your text the next day. Maybe she will be polite, but you'll never see her again. And you certainly will never have sex with her. If you press down on the yes button, she will have sex with you as quickly as her ASD allows. Now, if you don't know what ASD means, that is an old term for the pickup artist world. It means anti-slut defense. It is that thing that women have where even if they're really attracted to you and really turned on and really want to have sex with you, this is for the first time, they don't want to do it because they don't want to be viewed as a slut. And they don't want other people to think they're a slut, and they don't want to think they're a slut. And so they go, well, I really want to fuck this guy, but I can't do it because I'm a lady and I'm not a slut and I can't do that. It grows with age. It's a little beyond the scope of this video. But whatever her ASD is, when you press down on the yes button, she will have sex with you as fast as her ASD allows. Now, generally speaking, as I've talked about in my other content, ASD typically rises with age. So a 19-year-old woman is going to have very low ASD. A 39-year-old woman is going to have sky-high ASD. So if you press down on the yes button and she's 19, you're going to have sex pretty damn quickly. If you press down on the yes button for a 39-year-old, you might have to wait 1 or 2 dates, depending on the scenario, depending on several factors. Big topic for another time, but the point is, when you press down on yes, you're going to get laid relatively soon based on her level of ASD, unless you really, really screw something up. You can still screw it up if you press down the yes button. There are still things you can do wrong, but as long as you don't screw it up, you're pretty much in. The third button is an interesting button. That is the make him wait button. And when you press down on that button, what she says is, you know, this is a good guy. This is a good guy. This is a good provider. This is a guy who makes good money, seems very nice and polite. He won't try to fuck me too soon. He seems pretty honest and genuine. He seems like a beta male gentleman. So I better make him wait for sex because I don't want to screw up the opportunity to get a nice, submissive beta boyfriend or possible future husband. So that means that she likes you, but she's not going to have sex with you anytime soon. Instead, she's going to keep dating you and, quote, see what happens. She's going to keep going out with you on second date, third date, fourth date, fifth date, and she's going to pay attention to how much money you spend on her, how much you kiss her ass, how often you text her, and maybe if you're a good little boy, she will reward you with her magical pussy after date number 3, 4, 5, or whatever. It depends on the scenario, depends on her age, depends on her ASD, depends on her ethnicity, a lot of factors involved. But make him wait means she's going to make you wait for sex as long as she possibly can. And of course, since most men are idiots when it comes to dating, you will probably screw this up before you get the opportunity to have sex with her, which means you're basically going to go on a bunch of dates and then end up nowhere. And if you think I'm being mean, I'm actually talking to myself about 15 years ago because that's what I used to do. I used to go on first date, second date, third date, fourth date, fifth date, and not have sex. And I kept being a nice, good guy. And eventually I would say something wrong or do something wrong, and the woman would vanish. And I basically went on 4 or 5 dates, spent hundreds of dollars for no reason, and had to start all over again with a new woman. So this is a very typical problem. Now, let's discuss how you press down on each of these 3 buttons. Pressing down on the no button is pretty easy. If you show up looking like shit, if you start swearing or burping or farting, if you are very rude to her, if you're very rude to the waitstaff, if you're super arrogant, if you smell terrible, obvious stupid things that a lot of guys do wrong, and you will press down fast on that no button. And a lot of guys do this, and it's a relatively serious problem, although the bigger problem is something I'll get to in a minute. But that's what presses down on a woman's no button. You being very crass and super inappropriate and just kind of being an asshole, being very needy, or the opposite, being way too playerish and really playing up the player shit and trying to have sex with her really, really fast when she's not in that zone. That'll push down hard on her no button, and you will never see her again. Pressing down on the yes button is when you do literally everything correctly. For example, in my book, Get to Sex Fast at gettosexfast.com, I go through all the details of what you're supposed to do during the real life process. As a matter of fact, you can also go to onlinedatingsuccessnow.com, and that is my ultimate online dating manual updated for the 2020s, both the book and the video course. And if you do everything correctly throughout the entire interaction, which very few men do, then you will press down on her yes button. Now, is it that simple? No, it's not that simple. You also can't be something radically different from her type. That is a very big conversation. There's a lot of techniques to do. And as I've talked about in a prior video, there's a lot of things you should not do. As a matter of fact, you can click that video right there regarding the things you should not do, because if you do these things, you'll press down on her no button. If you avoid doing all the negative things, you might be able to press down on her yes button. Now, let's get to the biggest button and the button that most men tend to press these days, and that is the make him wait button. If you're a nice and polite guy and you're not super ugly, but you talk about boring shit like your college degree and what you do for a living and various other things that put you into the beta male box or the provider box, then you are pressing down hard on her make him wait button. If you talk about your career, if you talk about how your future plans, you want to settle down and get married someday, you talk about how you want to be a dad someday, those kinds of things, all those beta male provider cues, press down on that make him wait button. Therefore, if your objective is to get to sex as quickly as possible, your job is to, number one, obviously, don't press down on the no button and do everything possible to make sure that you never ever go anywhere near that button. Number two, and equally as important, you also don't press down hard on the make her wait button. If you take a woman out on a fancy first date to a fancy restaurant and you buy her dinner and drinks and the bill is $120 and you spend 6 hours talking to her and just talking and talking and talking, you are taking your thumb and you are mashing down on that make him wait button. You think you're doing everything right. You're doing everything society has told you to do. Be a gentleman, treat women right, buy her dinner, kiss her ass. And again, these things are not going to turn her off or make her not want you. These things are simply going to solidify you into the beta male provider box, and then she will continue to date you with no sex, giving you the opportunity to make more mistakes as time goes on. One of the many reasons it's not a good idea to wait too many dates before you have sex with a new woman, and it's also the same reason you don't want to talk too much on a first date. You will say something wrong that will turn her off or piss her off or spike her ASD, and you'll never see her again. So that's the challenge, that's the double challenge with pressing down on the make him wait button, is not only do you have to wait longer for sex, your odds of failure go up because now the margin for error has narrowed because you have more time to screw up. Now, sometimes different women can have different sizes of buttons. For example, if she's over the age of 33 with sky-high ASD and she is an active provider hunter and the only reason she's dating is to look for a very serious beta male boyfriend that she can boss around, the dating market is full of these women, then her no button is going to be relatively large, her yes button will be really, really tiny, and her make him wait button will be this big. And during the entire first date, she will be leaning at you like this with her make him wait button in your face saying, press the button, press the button. You better press this button, press this button. Therefore, it's much easier to press that button when you're with that type of woman. Conversely, if she is a 19-year-old girl and she is a type 2 VYW, which means she's the type of woman who is attracted to older men, and she's a very happy-go-lucky person, then her make him wait button will be very small. Actually, it may not even be there at all. She may just have a yes button or a no button, and that's it. Again, it depends on the woman you're with. But generally speaking, most women are going to have all three of these buttons. Just be aware that some of these buttons will be bigger than others depending on who the woman is, how old she is, where she is in life, her ethnicity, and various other factors. When I was first getting into the dating world way back in 2007, and I made this distinction, I realized that women had these 3 buttons. All of my behaviors during the first and second date were completely revolving around these 3 buttons. So I made very sure to not do anything that would press down on the no button. I did an entire video about that. I have a whole chapter on that in Get to Sex Fast on the things to not do. So I made very sure not to do that. But then I also made sure to not do things or to avoid as much as humanly possible the things that press down on her make him wait button. And the reason for that is, and this is something most men don't understand, you would rather press the no button than the make him wait button. What? Yes. I would rather a woman say no to me as quickly as possible than say maybe to me and then want to go out on 3 or 4 more dates and waste my time before she then said no. As they say in sales training, and I've talked about this in my business content, the yeses are good, the nos are good, the maybes will kill you. That is true in business. That is true in sales, it's true in marketing, and it's very true in your dating life. You want women to say yes to you quickly or no to you quickly. You do not want a bunch of women who say maybe, let's see what happens, take me out on more dates and let's see what happens. Those women will make you go gray. You do not want those women. It's almost, in a way, less bad to press down on her no button than her make him wait button. Again, assuming your objective is to get to sex as quickly as possible. If you are a right-wing, traditional, beta male Christian conservative, and your goal is to find a perfect virginal wife so you can get married, so later in a few years she can divorce you and take half your money and all your kids, then fine, feel free to wait as long as you want on multiple dates before you ever bother having sex. Shoot me in the fucking head, but if that's what you want to do, it's your life. Anytime you are on a first date, a first meet, or a second date, you need to be aware of every behavior you make, including your demeanor, how you dress, your body language, things you say, things you don't say, things you do on those dates, things you don't do on those dates, because I promise you, every single action you are doing presses down on one of those 3 buttons. You've got to be very careful to avoid the no button and the make him wait button and press as much as you can on that yes button. Or to bare minimum, press none of the buttons and then later press that yes button as hard as you can. Sometimes that works as well. Sometimes it's better just to not press any of those buttons, and that's better than pressing down on no or make him wait. Once you understand this concept, this will change the entire way in which you view first and second dates and or first meets with women. It radically changed the way I looked at it, and once I made this distinction in my life many years ago, my results immediately improved. When I knew that everything I was doing was a yes, a no, or a make him wait action, it automatically calibrated my actions to press that yes button or to press no buttons. Instead of pressing the no button, which is bad, or pressing the make him wait button, which in my opinion is really bad. If you are interested in me doing another video or maybe a podcast on the different types of women in terms of the different arrays or configurations of these 3 buttons, I'm certainly happy to do that. Let me know in the comments. Also, you should subscribe to this channel if this content is useful for you. Click the notification bell, put a like on this video, and leave a comment on this video. You can say whatever you want, doesn't really matter. The algorithm likes it. In the meantime, if you want a detailed analysis on dating women of different age ranges, this is one of my most popular topics. You can watch this video right there. I highly recommend it. I'll see you in the next video. Have fun. Bye.